soggy start to the day. But that's not going to deter me. I'm in a really good mood today and I'm cracking on with stuff out in the garden. And I also don't have my microphone, so please excuse the not terribly good quality of sound, but I'll show you what I've been doing. This bed is where the most of this was corn this year, sweet corn, and I've now raised the level of the bed and filled it up with wood chippings to rot down nicely over the next couple of years. And now this morning I've put some more of my plastic hoops over the bed, covered it with debris netting, because in here, oh, it's nice in here. In here I'm going to dig out channels going along and fill them with compost and sow some autumn sown carrots, and I want them under this cover so that the cats don't dig them up. Three done, and now I'll continue on down. I think I'll probably get 7 rows in along there, and I'm going to not just sow the seed in a straight line, I'm going to scatter it across this so the seeds are spread out nicely, and hopefully we'll get some carrots. I've come in to dry out and find my microphone and sit and talk to you in the warm and the dry, because I had, well, you can see I'd got a little bit soggy out there, and it was getting a bit more miserable than I wanted to be working in, but that was great. I got an hour's work done out there, and if the rain lets up today, I'll go back out and do some more. Mr. J and I went to our local town to try and find me a new waterproof coat, because my waterproof jacket is no longer waterproof. I've worn it for 45 minutes of very light drizzly rain out there, and the coat was soaked through, as was my sweatshirt and my t-shirt, so I've literally had to change the whole of my top layer because my waterproof just isn't. So we went down to the local town and we went into the shop that sells outdoor coats, and well, there was one that was kind of suitable and definitely felt waterproof, but it had a faux fur lining, which is probably really nice in the winter when it's very cold, but because my body doesn't temperature because my body doesn't regulate its temperature very well, I am very often very hot, and it would mean that most of the time I wouldn't be able to wear that coat because it would be too hot, even with just a t-shirt. So we'll have to carry on looking, and we'll find one. It won't be too long, and then I can be dry while I'm working outside. Anyway, while we were in the local town, we popped into the vets to pick up some nice dental cat food for Monty. Tabitha will have it too, but it's Monty's favourite. So anyway, we went to get that, and then I had quite a long chat with the lady that works in the veterinary surgeons, not the vet, the lady who works in the reception area, who I know in the past has had chickens, and I just said to her, can you keep sheep with chickens? So we had a long discussion about whether you could keep sheep and chickens together and what were the main downfalls of keeping sheep, because yesterday morning I just suddenly had a brainwave and thought, why don't we get a couple of sheep? You know, as you do. And I'm not going to rush into this. I'm going to find out what I need to do, what I would need to do, and how difficult it would be, how much work it would be, and the cost. But I did think if we had a couple of sheep and I did a rotational grazing pattern with them so that they were in one chicken field for a while, and then the next chicken field for a while, and then the next chicken field for a while, and then the area round by the piggeries for a while, they could keep the level of the grass down and fertilise the soil, and at the end of X amount of time we would have either lamb or mutton, and a lawnmower that you can eat at the end of it seems like a really good idea. This year the harvest has been incredibly successful, and perhaps now is the time to look at whether there's a way of using some of the land dual purpose, because in line with permaculture principles, I don't want any area to only be doing one job. And it's really hard to grow crops in the same area that chickens are in, because they'll just eat them. And I can section areas off, which I do, but I just thought, you know, it might be an answer. It would save the amount of work that Mr. J has to do in terms of mowing the grass, and it would give us a different source of manure. It would give us lambs, or it would give us sheep's wool, which I could, I'm sure even I could learn to clean the wool and then spin that, and how nice to have a blanket or a jumper made from wool of sheep that have been on our own homestead. So I quite like that idea, and maybe I'm just being fanciful. Maybe it's a bit pie in the sky and we can't do that on this small plot, but I can't see why not. I really can't see why not. So we're just beginning to explore which other animals we could have here. Now we could get a couple of pigs. That wouldn't be too difficult. Have a couple of pigs for a few months, and they'd turn over the soil very nicely, and they would prepare an area for us to garden in the next year. So that might be a good idea. Or we could go with the sheep. Now I really don't know as yet which one to do. We'll see. I need to do some more research, but that's what is starting to go on in my mind. I'm beginning to think about what we might do next year in terms of bringing in slightly larger livestock for a period of time to do a specific purpose, and put in the freezer at the end of it. Well, I'm back to standing in front of my chopping block again, because it's time for me to carry on chopping some more apples, and I am almost at the end of them. I think there's about another 15 or 20 pounds of apples left to go, and then they'll all be in the freezer ready for us to use throughout the year. The other thing I'm going to do is to pop some more of the pork that we got from Martha into the oven and get that cooked off so it can cool down, slice off, and then get it in the freezer. So while I'm doing all of those things, I'm going to carry on thinking about the potential of lawnmowers that you can eat, and that's my day sorted. And so, wherever you are in the world, and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one for you, and I also hope you can join me again tomorrow.